Good morning, good morning, good morning. It's a wonderful rainy morning in London.
And it's cold and it's miserable.
And we're all talking Yorkshire this morning, aren't we?
Certainly are.
We're saying, hey up, hey up, hey up, girl.
Hey up.
Because weather's coming down from north this morning and it's pouring with rain. We're expecting another Hurricane Maria this morning.
We certainly are.
Strangely enough, Maria's behind us in the camera. So,
let's try and be serious.
oh,
okay?
wow. Do they want to see us serious
Yes,
on a Monday morning?
do.
I wonder, viewers, can you understand my accent?
Yes, we can.
Good. Anyway, well, first of all, the reason why I'm being so hilarious with hilarity this morning is to keep this young lady awake.
I know, I had a late one last night.
This is one lady on the tiles last night. Go on and tell us about it.
Oh, it was fun, but I think you're going to get the majority of the story from Celebrity Correspondent Steven Jervis.
Okay.
But yesterday was a Black Panther Day, and we had over 2,500 people. That is just unprecedented to have that amount of people.
Well, they're all angry with you.
No, it was a great day.
I know, I'm only joking. It's the Yorkshire humour this morning.
I know. And DDPR, obviously, we have the official merchandising.
Very good.
So that went very well, but obviously Stephen will discuss all of that. So I got in early hours of this morning.
Early hours of this morning? You came straight back out again.
I did actually. So I hope so if I seem a little bit quiet today, you know why. I'm still half asleep.
So I have to make up for it this morning with the Yorkshire accent.
No change there then.
No change there. So, coming back to our sort of stories, as you know, we like to do all sorts of stories, and especially to communicate with the Muslim world just as much as the Christian world at the same time. And so we have a very interesting story this morning that was suggested by the Islam channel on Sky TV as well. And it's an incredible story, this one. I really like this story. Well, that's why I chose it.
Yeah, he chooses some very good stories. You do.
But it's an Islamic couple who got married in Turkey. Fethullah and Ezra. And they could have had a big, normal Turkish wedding, with all the trimmings, all the food and everything. But they decided that once the ceremony was done, they would go across the border and they would take all their food to feed 4,000 Syrian refugees.
Wow, how impressive is that?
Just to sort of, because they felt, that their religion, always talks about sharing and doing good works as well. And then rather than having a wedding reception, they decided to instead to sort of share their food with these refugees. So what a wonderful story.
I mean, to think that they're thinking about other people other than their big day. Nobody does that. That's a very humbling, lovely thing to do.
Yes. I've just noticed how flat my hair is this morning.
Your hair's wonderful, Ian. You always look wonderful.
So, just to explain, folks, there's this big screen in front of me. It's normally aimed at me, actually.
Here we go again.
But my hair looks a bit flat this morning. I'll just
Ian, can you get on with the news, please?
Okay, sorry. And carrying on with the news.
Yes.
So, President Trump, your favourite president.
Oh, don't. Let's not discuss that man. Anyway, go on.
Your favourite president, isn't he? He never riles you. He constantly gives you that sort of purpose to get up and punch him. It's like
I know, not that we're encouraging violence.
No, we don't encourage violence. But he has been having a go back at JayZ, because JayZ was sort of saying, what has the American President Trump, done for the black population? This is going to rile you.
Yeah, go on. Let's hear it, Ian.
So I can see steam coming out the back of her head on this one. So he retaliated. President Trump retaliated and said that he has created the lowest rate of black unemployment since 2010. The rate of unemployment for black students, black young people, has gone down 6.8%. Compared to 3.7% for white people. So he is saying that not only can he separate the Red Sea, and carry on like Moses, he's now decided that he is the saviour of the world when it comes to any sort of...
it's just unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, this man is just relentless. He just doesn't stop.
It's like you.
I do stop. I breathe once in a while.
You do. Well, and
he's relentless, though, Trump. Honestly.
I mean, it's an incredible thing that he thinks he's doing at the moment. So it's very interesting day. So I'm waiting because I'm actually on President Trump's hit list. so I'm waiting to hear from the president himself. PT as I call him. So that we can actually respond to him. But he listens and he watches television from around the world.
Yeah, he does actually.
So he might be tucked up in bed at the moment with his unnamed hamburger. We're not allowed to advertise on television. All sorts of hamburgers that can be bought. And his drink, his fizzy drink, and he might be watching us. On the other hand,
maybe not.
On the other hand, he might be doing something sensible.
Yeah, what's that? Anyway,
carrying on. Caribbean news. So this is one of the things that we may start doing more of now, because obviously we have a very large Caribbean population as well as an African population. And there's been some unfortunate stories going on at the moment. The US-backed Ross University School, which is a hospital as well, in Dominica, has had to cut 150 staff after Hurricane Maria came through and caused all the damage, which is terrible, and so our thoughts go out to that island first of all. We hope that education and medical help will still be there at the moment, but our thoughts go out to that country at the moment at the same time. Now the Antigua and Barbuda, is that how you pronounce it?
Barbuda, yeah.
It is?
Yes.
I did get it right.
You did.
Thank goodness for that. The President has suggested carrying out decriminalising marijuana. Uh-oh. Not that I wish to cast aspersions on anybody, but I thought it already had been decriminalised in some areas around there anyway. But
obviously not.
But obviously not. He's obviously hanging loose now with his population. There was a very strong story, and we were watching it on British television this morning about a young boy who's about 6 years old, and he suffers from terrible times of trauma, and he has so many fits, and sometimes he can have up to sort of 60 to 80 fits a day. And they have discovered in Holland, and they took him over for trials in Holland, that marijuana oil, which is a medical derivative, can actually help him. And when he was over there, he had one fit in 28 days.
Yeah.
But Britain being very proper, we're not allowing it to happen. We're not even allowing, apparently we're not even sure whether
they don't even recognise it, but I've been aware of it for a very long time. I know people that actually use it and swear by it, and it does work. But like you say, Britain being Britain.
So, do you know, I just realised we're quite laid back in our chairs this morning as well, aren't we? I could start swinging this morning. Side to side.
Ian's off again.
Side to side. So I digress.
Yes.
The Jamaican government has signed a £40 million deal to upgrade their international Sangster airport in Montego Bay. Sounds good, doesn't it?
It does. Montego Bay is a beautiful island.
Is it?
Right?
So
very beautiful island.
Are we getting? We're not getting any invites, are we? By any chance, by any airlines? It's
all good.
Yeah, we're more than happy. Should Montego Bay want to invite us to actually open their airport, because we do a lot of hosting now, don't we?
Yeah, funny enough,
we're hosting this week. Tell them about what we're hosting.
Yeah, we're hosting the Black British Fashion Awards this Friday, isn't it?
It's Friday.
Yeah, so we're actually co-hosting that, which is very exciting. I'm looking forward to that.
It is. I'm going to do my roller skate routine. I'm not actually. I'm not.
You just better behave on the night, that's
I
all I can say.
I will honestly be very respectful.
You have to do us justice now.
Oh, just, oh Lord. I will do my very, very best. Because, joking apart, we very much want to support black fashion.
Yeah.
You know, and everything that's going on.
And the hair, beauty, hair industry, because it is an award show.
Absolutely, and we had the young lady on the other day promoting it, and she might be on again.
Yeah.
She might be on again, she might be on forever. We might not be able to get her out of the studio. You know, she did so well the other day.
She did. She did, actually.
You know,
Lovely young lady.
Be careful of our jobs at times, you never know that.
Lovely young lady.
Anyway, I noticed the time has beaten us as always.
Oh, that was quick.
So, we're now just going to take a short break, and then we will have Ruth Pearson back. Well, now we're bringing back some sense and sensibility.
We need it in this madhouse.
This is a former deputy headmistress. She's going to keep us in strictly under her gaze now, you know, as we talk about some great Christian stories as well. So, Ruth Pearson, take it away.
Well, as you can see this morning, we've had quite a lively show, but we started here with a story that was really interesting about random acts of kindness.
Absolutely.
And you talked about the Fashion Week.
Yes.
And the Christian story we're going to talk about today is based on bringing those two stories together. So as we know, it's Fashion Week. And people were talking about, well, where'd you go to buy your clothes, especially like designer clothes, because they're really, really expensive. Yeah. And as Christians, we're taught about how we need to, you know, manage our money and, you know, do good causes. So they were doing this poll of asking people, well, where'd you go to buy clothes? And how much do you spend? And one of the things they were saying is that men, Ian, they're spending more money now on clothes.
Look at that look on her face.
Right? The women, they were saying now that men are spending more money than women. They're saying women are spending on average a month, maybe about 90, just over 90 pounds a month, and men were spending like over £100.
See, and they've been in denial, Ruth.
Right,
all this
okay.
time.
Yes.
So here comes the denial.
Yes.
Yes.
I got this coat. It's normally £380, and I got it for 60.
Oh.
And the rest of the outfit in total cost me £40.
Oh,
shoes.
She's very economical with her.
And the reality is, for me, you know, I try to look smart, and I have a sort of classic style, but because I went through a very bad time in my life, and so I know the value of money now as well. I don't anymore spend too much on clothes, as you can see. I mean, you know, the cardboard in the bottom of these shoes. Thank God.
He wants us to feel sorry.
All I can say is thank God for cereal packets. That's all I can say.
Right. So you're saying now that because of what you went through, that you now think about the value of money and what you're actually getting. And that leads on to the next story. So they were saying lots of people now who care about the value of money, they go and they look in local charity shops to see what's there. So they still want to look good, but they don't want to spend the expensive money.
Sure.
So the other part of the story is this person was in a charity shop, and this lady was in a wheelchair and wanted to buy a fold-up table, and asked the shop, would you deliver? And the shop said, unfortunately they don't. So one of the customers was there, said, well, where do you live? And she said, well, local. She goes, well, let's get the table delivered to my house, and then after we get the table delivered to my house, then I can come and help you set it up. So random acts of kindness, like this morning the story with, you know, the wedding and going and sharing the food with others. So
see, there's some decent people out there. You know, there's a human story there. Not everything is bad news.
And you know what, I think in fashion especially, it's. I mean, I've created my own style, and I know I joke about it, but I am very frugal, you know, what I spend. But what I tend to do is I can colour match things that I know, you know, can be worn over several different outfits. Yeah. You know, at the same time. So
you have a capsule wardrobe. That's what they call it.
Is that what?
Yeah. He has a capsule.
I knew that. I did know that.
That's okay. Yeah. So I suppose part of the other question as well is then, what random acts of kindness could people do? So as we go through the week, what are some of the things that we could do as random acts of kindness for others, just to think about others instead of thinking about ourselves?
Well, I'm keeping her awake this morning.
So, yes, yeah.
So he sees that as an act of kindness.
That's my random act of kindness.
So that's like,
bless your heart. And thank goodness you arrived this morning.
Yes.
Yes.
I didn't mean that, but...
I'm getting that headmistress look now. Yes, behave. There's a look in her eye. Behave.
It's subconsciously, not natural. Yes.
But it is, and you're so right, because strangely enough, talking about disabled people, I've been in talks with one of the disabled organisations, Kaleidoscope, over the weekend, and they have a major campaign coming up very, very shortly, and they were looking to sort of see the disability minister for Great Britain, hopefully is going to be involved, and they were looking to sort of see how things can be done. And I think a lot of the time, you know, with disabled people, I mean, it's like one of our best friends who's been on the show as well, Michael Spooner. Michael Spooner, Caribbean, I mean, he's so charismatic.
He's an amazing man, and he was a blind man as well.
Totally blind.
What an amazing man.
I mean, you know, totally charismatic, and he gets everywhere. You know, I have a lot of meetings in a store in London called John Lewis's, which is quite a well-known store. And you know, he comes on the train. He gets to Oxford Street, which is the longest shopping street in the world, and he's able to find John Lewis. Goodness knows how he does it. And then he has to go 5 floors to the cafe, and then he's meandering in around the tables as well, you know, and I'm thinking, my goodness.
Yeah.
And sometimes I think it's visibility. It's visibility as well with disabled, and I remember a story a while back where I used to work for a little while in a photography shop selling cameras, and then one day this gentleman came in with dark glasses and a white stick, and all the shop assistants froze because they thought, is this a wind-up? Is this you know, is this some sort of test, you know, by head office on what's going to be the reaction? And it turned out he was virtually blind, this gentleman, and he became a great friend of mine actually. But he could just have peripheral vision, and he still sort of took pictures. So you know, we were able to help him. But you're quite right. I mean, isn't it so good just to do one positive thing a day?
A day,
And I think that's a really good message, you know, to put out there. And I like that. I think it's something we should do every week.
And I think some of the positive things is giving people a hug, giving people a lift. You know, just words of affirmation.
Are you going to give me a lift on your shoulders or not?
You know, words of affirmation. So they're not things that's going to cost money. Just like how you said at the end of the show, smile.
You know, right.
At the end of the show, we say just smile.
Absolutely. I mean, I totally agree. I think it is so important. This is what Olive TV is all about. It's all about positive people, positive thoughts, keeping a lid on me. And
positive news.
Positive news. Keeping a lid on me.
Sharing good news again.
You notice I'm keeping quiet here.
You know, it's only
so I suppose our takeaway then for the week is, as we go through the week, let's do some random acts of kindness.
Absolutely.
So next week we shall tell you what we've done.
Absolutely. Not only that, anybody who's listening, write into us. You can come in on Facebook and Olive TV, and you can watch the show again if you want to. We always watch it 10 times.
And share some random acts of kindness.
And share some acts of kindness.
Lovely.
So Ruth,
thank you so much. That's
tremendous, tremendous news
usual.
again from you today. So we're just going to have another short break, and we're going to go into our celebrity show spot now.
Crazy fan. Oh, we're back.
That was a bit shocked.
I never say it. And she's always saying I'm the one who's gossiping all the time.
And do you know what? Just as our producer said, you're on now. And what do? I'm chatting to our guest.
Good morning, Steven.
Good morning.
Hello, Steven. Thank you for coming again.
My pleasure.
Steven Jervis, our celebrity show business correspondent. So you've been doing all sorts of things. I have some you can talk about.
Ian's on that tip again. I do apologise. The ones that you can talk about.
So the ones you can talk about. Yes. Remember, this is a family show. Are we all going to talk like this morning?
Oh no, yeah.
Ever since I had my Yorkshire tea this morning.
We've had Steven in a Yorkshire accent, we've all been in a Yorkshire
Yes.
Oh, dear. I digress. I shall turn over to Steve. So, BFI first of all.
Yes.
Hello.
I think Steven was like
Stephen.
I'm with you guys.
There was a time delay there.
we're not in Hollywood, folks. This is North London.
There was a time delay. The heart was going like that for a minute.
Right, so British Film Institute, what were you doing there last week?
Yes, so last week I was at the Black Panther premiere.
Very good.
With the director Ryan Coogler. And with DDPR, we managed to watch the movie, which was amazing. We had an interview with the director.
Very
He
good.
was given his standpoint of where he's coming from, his background, how he even got the role,
Yeah.
how he does things, how he got to the point of making this movie. It was very interesting, amazing.
He's a young man, isn't he? He's only 30.
Everyone's saying this is a very important time for black people, black artists in this, in the film world. How important do you think it is?
It's very important because it's not something that's new to black people. Something
Yeah.
we've been doing
We've been doing it from
for a
time.
long time, but it's just from a media standpoint.
Why do you think it's caused this then? Because if it's been happening for so long, is it because it's not been recognised? I mean, the two of us were at an event a couple of weeks ago, which was, I won't name the area, in London, and it was going to be a business awards.
Sure.
And this area was quite a large African Caribbean area. 200 people turned up, 197 were white, and 3 people with colour.
And I was one of them.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Sorry. No, but it's a fact. It's a fact. And, for us, I know Black Panther means a lot to me as well, because for the first time we're actually seeing a representation of ourselves, and I think, is that how you feel?
Well, for sure, and especially since everybody, well not everybody, but some people know about the show Roots. This is the biggest thing since Roots.
Oh gosh,
Really?
Roots.
It's literally
I
parallel
remember
with
Roots, so that it was such a
with an
fabulous
all-black
series.
cast, which has such an impact, which has broken records throughout the box office, pre-launch, launch, is breaking records, but the only thing parallel to that was Roots, and that's a very, very long time ago.
Absolutely. And you were saying that you went to, you came in this morning, straight from the premiere, I think.
Yes, yesterday. I think that's what Steven's going to discuss.
And how many people turned up to see this event?
Right, so basically this was another Black
Panther event again.
So it was a preview, but this time with a Q&A with producing director Steven Jervis, who works with Marvel, and some other guests. And basically it was speaking about the background and the business end of the film. And similar to what you're asking me now, they were asking the similar questions.
I don't ask similar questions. I'm original, Stephen.
Stephen, please don't upset him. We want you back, and we don't want to upset Ian.
And there's 1,200 people.
1,200
people
Yeah, there was.
actually booked tickets, and there was more.
There was 1,500 on the waiting list.
And people turning up and trying to get in, and
Goodness.
merchandising from DDPR. We've got the official Marvel merchandising.
I know, we're
exclusive,
so excited.
and you can also find it on our website.
So
soon.
what type of things can you buy, for merchandising? What type of things do you get, these days? What's on
It's a
sale?
full range, from wallets, key rings, caps, T-shirts,
Comics.
comic book, you name it. It's
And it's based on a comic, is that right? What's the story behind it?
So it's based on a comic book that Marvel produced many years ago.
966 to be precise.
Really?
Yeah.
And
I remember that well. England
You're showing your age,
England won the World Cup.
the one and only time.
One and only time.
Oh no, is that true? Oh, I didn't know. Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Sorry. I just thought I'd throw that one in as my only bit of 1966 history of any renown.
Yeah, sorry, Stephen. Go.
Then they've done a cameo with the Avengers, which was his first appearance in the global scene.
Right.
And which brought this movie, and now it's breaking records because there's been a demand for something of this ilk or caliber for a very long time.
Excellent.
Regarding Black people.
Excellent. So where do you think it's going to go next? So you're saying there's more of them. Are there other characters that are coming in now that are iconic, you know, that may sort of turn themselves into the next Black movie, do you think?
Hopefully.
There are a few others.
There are some lurking, but we don't know whether they're going to make the same impact as Black Panther, but it's a start. You know?
And we've got Luke Cage and
Yes.
what's the Blade? I think was the first one.
But Black Panther has outdone all.
Yeah,
You know?
it has. And a bit of a secret, I don't know if Stephen knows, is what I'm going to tell him, is the fact that Black Panther's sister, she becomes the next Black Panther.
Really?
Female empowerment. Inside information.
You heard that first. Okay.
Yeah.
There's the men getting elbowed out again.
Female empowerment.
You know, they are 1,000% female empowerment. So how interesting. So, I mean, how much has it grossed? Do you know how much it might have grossed? You know,
200 million mark for the
Apparently,
opening,
it will reach a
weekend.
billion. This is what they're saying. It
The
will.
opening weekend.
so I mean, it's always the way, isn't it, that when it becomes a success story like that, trilogies start sort of opening up. Star Wars and you know, the different things that sort of are coming on. Where do you see Black actors in Britain at the moment? I don't mean physically, but you know, are they recognised now? Because I think at the BAFTA Awards last night there was a young man who was recognised for, I think, what, Young Upcoming Artist of the Year or something.
I was out so late last night. I couldn't keep up. Yeah, we're both working on things that I didn't keep up with it.
Did you notice as you were walking past and when the sun was rising this morning past BAFTA?
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, I've kept the two of them awake this morning. I mean, you know, my goodness
I'm surprised we could do a show. Anyway, sorry, yeah. Black actors, you're saying?
Yes. I mean, how important is it now? We were talking the other day about a theatre group in Birmingham, weren't they, who were all black actors, and they were doing a thing on mental health. So, it obviously, you know, we want to see more of it. That's the reality. We want to see anybody of colour successful as well. And
is that time already?
Time already. You know, my cup of tea, I can smell the tea.
Oh, here we go. He's been going on and on about this cup of tea from Yorkshire.
Yeah,
exactly.
And by the way, we're not branded just in case anybody from Ofcom's watching. It could be any other cup of tea as well. So anyway, thank you, Steven.
Thank you. We'll see you again next week.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank you, Ian. Thank you to Ruth.
Thank you, everybody.
And Justice.
And Maria.
We're on that tip this morning. Thank you to everybody.
Thank you for
my cat, my dog.
And remember, keep on smiling because it makes people wonder what you're smiling about. Have a great day.
Take care.